So in this video, we're going to show you how to get a $10,000 grant from the US government if you are a small business, a sole proprietor, an independent contractor, or a 1099 worker. Now this applies to owner-operators, truck drivers that get 1099s, dispatchers, brokers. Basically anyone that is a contractor or a small business owner can get these funds. Let's just talk about what this is. This is part of the COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. The purpose was to provide funding to small businesses that have suffered because of coronavirus. It has two parts, a $10,000 grant and a $2 million loan. The immediate advance is a $10,000 grant and you do not have to pay that back. That's yours to keep and spend on your employees and your business. The application is only 5 minutes long. It's very easy to fill out, so please fill it out as soon as possible. It's first come, first serve. They've allocated $10 billion to this. Once that money is gone, then that's it. So what are the terms of the grant? Again, it's a $10,000 grant and you do not need to pay it back. Tax returns and additional documentation is not required. The $10,000 is not contingent on whether you get approved for the loan or not. So you could get denied for the loan, but you would still get the $10,000 if you are eligible, if you meet all the requirements. They're saying that you will get the $10,000 into your bank account within 3 days after processing your application. However, we're hearing that there's massive delays and in the processing of applications, so there's no timetable as to when that's going to happen. If you are approved for the loan, then the terms are as follows. There's a 3.75% interest rate with a maximum term for 10 years. There's no personal guarantee required up to $200,000. So after $200,000, they would require a personal guarantee. There's no collateral required up to $25,000. So after $25,000, they would require a collateral, some sort of collateral. But banks are being very flexible in the type of collateral that they'll take. If you can show that you've used the loan funds for something like payroll, utilities, rent, or the mortgage, then even the loan funds would be forgiven and you don't need to pay that back. So who qualifies for these funds? Any LLC, S Corp, C Corp, business that does not have more than 500 employees qualifies for this money. Now it's important to understand, how do you define an employee? The easiest way to figure that out is to count the number of W-2s that you give out at the end of the year. If you give out only 1099s, then that means that you have 0 employees. If you give out 2 W-2s, including yourself, then that means you have 2 employees. Any sole proprietor or 1099 contractor is also eligible. This means that if you're an owner-operator and you've set up as a corporation or a sole proprietorship, then you're eligible. If you're a truck driver and you get a 1099, then that means you are a contractor and you are eligible. If you're an Uber driver or a taxi driver and you get a 1099, then you're eligible. Any kind of small business, contractor, sole proprietor is eligible for these funds. Now let's look at how you apply for these funds. It's an online application, super easy to fill out. It only takes a few minutes. This is the website that you go to. And I want to remind everyone that this is a first come, first serve situation. They've allocated $10 billion to this program, and once that money is gone, the program shuts down. So please fill out this application as soon as possible. It only takes a few minutes, and we're going to just walk through it right now. This is the application website. You can see that we came to COVID-19 relief.sba.gov, and it goes straight into the application. We're going to scroll down to the eligible entity verification. So the first part is they're basically asking what type of business you are. Usually you're going to be one of the first 2 options. Applicant is a business with not more than 500 employees. So if you're an LLC, if you're a C Corp, if you're an S Corporation, you're going to be this one. And if you are a sole proprietor, or if you are a 1099 contractor where you get a 1099, you're going to be the second one. So it just depends on how you've set up your business. For example, if you're an owner-operator, if you set up as a LLC, then you're going to be the first one. If you set up as a sole proprietor, then you're going to be the second one. But if you get a 1099, let's say you're a driver, let's say you're an Uber driver, taxi driver, something like that, and you get a 1099, you're going to be the second one. So For this application, we'll pick the first one. The second section is they're basically asking if your business, what type of work you do as a business, because certain types of work disqualify you from the $10,000. So we're just going to check these and go to this next page. So this is business information. Will be trucking company, INC, trade name, trucking. We'll just say it's the same name. EIN is your tax ID. Or if you are a sole proprietor and you don't have a tax ID, it could be your social security number. So we are going to plug that in there. Organization type, so it depends on what type of business you are. If you're a limited liability company or a sole proprietor, C Corp, S Corp. If you're an independent contractor, then you could be down here, independent. We'll say LLC. Here we go. LLC. Is the applicant a nonprofit organization? No. Is the applicant a franchise? No. You'll notice these red stars. So all these questions have had red stars so far. Those are required questions. So we have to fill out those. Gross revenues for the last 12 months from January 31st, 2020. So this goes from January 31st, 2019 to January 31st, 2020. And we're going to ballpark that. We'll just say 100,000. Cost of goods sold for that period, we'll say 0. Unless you're manufacturing something, your cost of goods sold is going to be 0. Rental properties, so if you are a real estate company and you have rental properties, then you might plug something in here. But you'll notice that these questions do not have red stars. So these are not required unless you are either like a real estate company or you are a nonprofit, faith-based company. Then you have to answer these questions. Primary business address. City, Silver Spring, Maryland, because that's where I am. Zip code 20904. Business phone. Business email. The date the business was established. Current ownership since. Usually these are the same dates. They would be different if the business was created on one date and then you bought the business later on. Then the dates would be different. Business activities. So for a trucking company, it's going to be freight and tractor trailer transportation. Number of employees. So remember, this is the number of W-2s that you have on your payroll. So as a trucking company, we're going to say that all of our drivers are 1099 contractors. So we're going to say 0 number of employees. Is your business owned by a business entity? So does another business own your business? We're going to say no. Individual owner agents. So John, first name, last name Smith, mobile number. Title, say owner, ownership percentage 100, john@john.com. Social security number of this person. Birth date, place of birth. So even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you're still eligible for these funds. This is the address. If there's multiple owners, then you can add an additional owner here and another section will pop up. Otherwise, you go to the next section. Here they're going to ask you some questions about your background, if you have a criminal record or if you have any other offenses on your record. So we're going to say no for these. This section is if someone has helped you fill out this form. So we're going to skip that. And I would like to be considered for an advance of up to $10,000. You definitely want to check this box. It's Very important. The whole reason we're filling this application out. Where to send funds. So this is your bank information. This is also very important. This is where they're going to send your money. So I'm just going to plug in some information here. And then we have a section here where you check I have told the truth and everything that I've said is the truth, and you'll click next. So that's going to submit the application, and an application number will pop up, and you want to make sure you take a picture of that or screenshot that, save that, so you have a record of it, and you're done. So that's the application. Like I said, it only took a few minutes. It's very simple, very easy. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment section, and we'll try to help you out as much as we can. This video was sponsored by Bobtail. Bobtail provides small trucking companies with financing, invoice financing, factoring solutions. We try to help our guys out as much as we can, especially during times like this where everyone's just trying to survive. So if you have any questions, please, you can give us a call. Our number is 410-204-2084. That's 410-204-2084. And otherwise, you can also throw questions into the comments. Thank you very much. Be safe. Bye.